This is Public Access Lost Transmissions, Part 27, the beginning of the end, the TV Odyssey mystery. We don't know for sure if this is going to go for a session after this or not. This could be the last session, but if it's not, it's the penultimate session. So we're going to get into everything that happened with Taylor and Amber in a moment. But first, a long and lonely signal in the chromatic desert. Shane, if that's even your real name, you've been wandering in this desert. Well, it's difficult to pin down the amount of time at this point. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be years. But you've been wandering for some time. Every now and then you're able to express yourself. You're able to make contact with the others in different ways, in different forms. But always they forget. Always you find yourself back here. You don't know where exactly you should be wandering to, only that you should follow the direction of the sun that never lowers in the sky. Indeed, this desert is always brightly lit. It is always full daylight. The light has an effect on the sand, on the sandstone, on the sky. It makes everything seem more vivid, more real. After a time, you started to be able to see colors in the flowers and the rocks that you don't remember before. As we see Shane wandering the desert, I'd like to paint the scene, everyone. This desert is an in-between place. It's not a real place. And yet, when you handle anything from it, when you focus on something in the distance, when you sit and ponder it, it seems even more real somehow than the real world. How can it be both unreal and real? That's your question. While you ponder it, my beautiful Pendleton coffee mug shall be
There
raised to my
is.
lips.
Oh,
Go ahead, Natasha.
okay. So um, I imagine that it's the sensations that one gets when in the desert are somewhat like synesthesia. So you know that your brain gets input from one sense, but you turn it into something else. So you know something is here. Like for instance, you know that you see something, but you hear it as a sound, or you hear a bird and you smell the sound. So it all feels real, but not in the sense that you are used to recognizing things. If you understand what I mean.
I think there's a moment where Shane, wandering this desert, sees maybe like a beautiful cactus flower or something, and she's intrigued enough to touch it. And when she does, she can hear static. And when she takes her hand off of it, static stops. And then when she plucks it, the static is almost overwhelming, and it's almost as if someone's flipping channels in the sky. There's like a brief shot where the clouds become these sort of beautiful cactus flowers before they change back to clouds again.
I think the landscape, the the objects you encounter, they all look real and amazing and like beautiful deserts. But to some extent, it seems also unreal because the audience, I'm not sure if Shane will notice, but the audience will see it's similar to like let's say Saturday morning cartoon. The objects repeat themselves. The background is limited, and you'll encounter the same cactus or cacti and mountains and whatever.
It's like old Masters of the Universe cartoons always had the same like hand drawn background for like they had like three that they cycled through basically. Yeah, that's great. Shane, you've been here for a long time.
Yeah, but
You have. How have you adapted to life in this desert?
my scarves were very helpful. Uh, but I don't think that like being here, I don't want for anything, which is odd. Like I don't like I'm not hungry, I'm not thirsty, I'm not tired. And because it's always bright and sunny, my sense of time is completely shot. And so I think that all she can do is walk and do her best to recognize where she is and try to manifest sensation where she can. I think that even when she walks, she doesn't necessarily feel the sand beneath her sneakers. Like it's she feels almost removed from the physical world here. And so it's sort of like she has to really focus in order to like engage with it physically. Um, Now I'm distracted by the cat. So cute. But yeah, I think that because she doesn't want for anything and because everything feels immaterial, that she is in a sort of cruel mirror of her own life, just sort of coasting by.
You have manifested into the other place, a living signal to the other side, dozens, hundreds of times at this point. Always it's a little different. Sometimes it's vastly different. Always it's different people. Sometimes it's the same people, but you in a different form. No matter what, you always end up back here, wandering the desert, lonely, adapting, and yet cared for in this place, as you've described. The last time you managed to make contact with the other side, you had a distinct feeling, unlike any other time, that perhaps there was life growing in your belly. What was that? Are you currently fulsome with child? Or is the child, was it born long ago and now wandering the desert on its own? Was this just a trick? Something unreal? A taunting, perhaps, from the other side?
Interesting. Um, I think that she hasn't changed at all, like physically. Not at least not in the external way. Um, but I think there's definitely times where she feels in that sort of synesthetic way, something turning inside of her, and she can smell like milk, or she hears like some sort of distant animal call out. and she sees the colors that are reminiscent of childhood to her. And I think that even at one point, there's maybe one time where she sort of feels that sort of staticky rumbling in herself, and she's almost about to keel over, and the wind blows, but it's not the howling of typical wind. It's almost as if like an audience is going, ooh.
Fantastic. Taylor and Amber, there is someone in this rift, in this portal that you opened up in order to send the Deep Lake Devils back to wherever they came from. This person has taken the opportunity to make contact with you, the rare opportunity to make direct contact with you. They're standing there. It's a young man about your age. You think you recognize him, but neither of you can place him. And he's holding out his hand, drawing you in to the rift. And you're standing there, colors blurring past the three of you. He looks at you and he says, "You won't remember me. My name is Zach, and I've found it. And I'm going to take you there.
What's it?
This is the last time you'll be able to see me or know me. We don't have a lot of time. I have to just tell you everything I know. I found it. I found the station. You have to find out what they did. They did something to weaken the barriers of time and space. You have to find out what they did, and you have to reverse it. And before he can even get another word out, you can already see him fading away. And then you find yourselves still underground, but it's different. You're in a cave, to be sure, but it's a cave that's illuminated by sort of green, phosphorescent, like cave mushrooms or lichen, right? And there's a little path down into the bottom of this basin in the cave. Not unlike the one that Renita Toro and treacherous Wayne were looking down upon you at. At the bottom of this cave basin, you see it. You see TV Odyssey. You see the TV station. It looks like it's been plucked from wherever it was and deposited here.
Oh my God.
And around the same time, Shane, you spy something on the horizon and you're wandering. You spy the TV station also, but it's not in a cave. It's out in the middle of the open desert. But you see it. You see its tower. And in the chromatic desert, you can actually see its signal tower visibly radiating. Waves of neon pink energy rolling off of it.
Do we also see that?
No, you two are just in a cave where the and the TV station looks like a relative wreck for the two of you. It looks like it was physically dropped there, and it looks partially collapsed. Right.
I think this
Connection.
is the first time Shane has seen anything that hasn't just been the sort of same looping
Right.
landscape over and over.
Right.
And instinctively, she's just like bolting towards it. It's the first change in the monotony that she's experienced, and so I think she's heading over towards it. But I think that as she's running towards it, that static in her stomach starts to expand and reverberate through her body. There's a moment where she collapses, seeing the sort of pink reflected in her eyes. She looks down and she's herself, but like dressed like a 1950s housewife. And she gets up and she's dressed in like exercise, like attire from the 80s. And she feels like she can see herself sort of being changed to these different characters, these different iterations of her, almost as if someone is like scrambling the signal.
Fantastic. Amber and Taylor, do you head down to the station or what's left of it?
Of
So
course. Do we
just
see
a
the
clarifying
sky?
question. Is
Okay.
it just the two of us now?
It's the two of you.
Okay. Sure.
Can we still see the sky, or are we
You're under,
completely okay?
you're
We're still
underground. Yeah, the only
yeah,
light
okay.
source is just like glowing green cave moss, basically. And also, well, we'll talk about the rules of this in a minute, but I just need to know what you're doing right now.
Well, is there an obvious way out of here? Not that I would take it, but I just want to know.
I think whatever was left of that rift that you created, that
Mhm.
this person, Zach, brought you through or guided you through, I think it's fading away and it's not immediately clear how you escape this place.
Hmm.
Okay. Amber, the only way is forward, I guess.
Yeah, we have to get down there and check the station out.
I didn't think we would actually find the station. I think we're in a parallel dimension. I mean, check out the building. It looks like someone just dropped it there.
Yeah, kind of creepy, but gotta go there.
Let's do it.
We see you scrambling down the switchbacks carefully to get to the building. We see Shane running up to the building, shifting, blinking, changing. When you finally arrive at the door of TV Odyssey, Shane, a concept which is itself possibly just a distant memory to you. How do you look?
I think she's saw like wasteland punk right now. She's got like
Nice.
a mohawk and like ratty bandana and spikes.
Do you go inside?
Yes. I think she just actually just throws the door open. She's just like relieved to have some break from the monotony, even if she doesn't have the same connection to TV Odyssey as she had once. It's wherever. She is just intrigued and wants to get out.
When you step into the lobby of the TV station, it's pleasantly cool. Wherever this place is, however it got here, the air conditioning is working, so that's good. There is a vending machine stuffed with Snacks Plus and Drinks Plus items, a water cooler, a tall plant, and a little desk to
The
greet
plant
people.
alive?
It's probably just a plastic potted plant, a tree. And sitting at this desk to greet you is a young woman, maybe 20, 25, wearing a red flannel shirt, a couple of piercings. She looks up and she's like, "Oh, hey. Uh, I I didn't think we were shooting the music video today, but I guess so."
When we turn to Shane, she now looks like full on 80s glam, like Sheena Easton, at like big shoulder pads. And she's like, What music video? Where am I? What is this place?
I mean, I dig your look. This kind of like throwback 80s thing. That's pretty cool. I mean, the 80s were only like 5 years ago, but cool.
She looks down and like sees the bangles on her wrist. Where are we? Where am I?
You are at Cable Channel 94, aka TV Odyssey, public access station. We record shows. Any member of the community can book time. It sounds like maybe you're not actually booked here. If you want to book time in one of the studios, and she pulls out like a little book, a little ledger. She's like, you got to like fill out your information here. Anyone can do it. You just have to show me some kind of ID that you live in Degoya County, and we're good to go. You can say anything you want. It's the future.
What year is it?
Are you okay? Are you in distress?
And when she says that, she looks down and she's now like hippy dippy, uh, long red hair and like tie-dyed shirt and sandals. But she'll take the ledger from this person and just sort of like slam it down on whatever nearby desk and just sort of start to flip through to see if she recognizes names, anything that she can like ground herself with.
We'll get to that in a moment. Taylor and Amber, you're at the door of TV Odyssey. What do you do?
Does it look like there's light inside or something, or is it
No.
really just a
It looks
broken
completely dark.
broken down building? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, shall we?
I think
I hold
Am-
out my hand like this to Amber.
Where do you want to hold hands? Are you scared?
Just thought you might be.
Fine. And she takes your hand and opens the door with her other hand.
When you step inside the lobby, or what's left of it, you can actually see a little bit. There are emergency lights that are still somehow operating. They are white emergency lights. Everything is mostly cloaked in shadow, but you can see a few things still in the dust. You can see an overturned, smashed up vending machine. You can see a potted plant, a tree, plastic potted tree overturned, the soil spilled everywhere. And there's a desk, and splayed out over the desk, slumped over the desk, is a skeleton wearing a red flannel shirt. We're going to take a 5-minute break. When we get back, I'm going to explain the mystery to you and how it works, and we'll see what happened to TV Odyssey. I was reminded on break that we still have some outstanding keys to resolve. You feel free to do that whenever you wish, just in flashback as you wish to do it. So let's talk about this mystery. Based off what Zachary told you, and based off what all three of you are intuiting, back in 1992, when the station disappeared, they did something. The people at TV Odyssey, the workers there, or something at the station caused the barriers of time and space to be destabilized in Degoya County, creating all this bizarre stuff that's been going on. You have a single question here. How did the station destabilize time and space in Degoya County? It's a complexity 6. Opportunity: resolve the campaign by reversing the process or otherwise healing the tears in the fabric of reality. There are a couple things you need to know before we begin. 1, Taylor and Amber and Shane, you can only have one thing on you from your corner of the house. Decide what that is now. something you just happened to have on your person before you either zapped off to the chromatic desert or before you
Can it be
um,
something that's been marked and unmarked, or does it have to be something that's already
you
been
can
marked?
you can take something marked and unmark it. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
The motorcycle. No, just kidding.
I do retain the right to veto anything that doesn't make any sense. So
Of course.
I'm gonna go with the character sheet.
oh, from your Serpents and Sepulchres game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good.
Gonna go with my character sheet.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Good.
no, I'm not.
Oh.
Uh, no, I'm gonna go with Billy James's lifeguard whistle.
Nice.
I have the chemical testing kit
Fantastic.
because why wouldn't I just carry that around?
I mean, you knew you were going caving, and it'd be a
Yeah.
great opportunity to find some weird samples, maybe, right?
Mhm.
Um, Fantastic. The other thing to know, Shane, you're going to be investigating the same mystery as everyone, obviously. As we'll discuss in a minute, your character is kind of aware of the others and what they're doing. Um, Unfortunately, you can only communicate what you find to them via media you create at TV Odyssey that they will then find. So think on that and how that might look. Final thing, Amber and Taylor, at any time, if you mark the chromatic desert yourself, you appear immediately at the station with Shane. And so let's continue. Shane, you said you were flipping through the like sign up book. Go ahead and make the meddling move with, I think it's actually composure, considering the haste with which you're doing it, and you're kind of freaking out a little.
Could I use my sight beyond sight move
Oh, sure, to find out what's
since it's
about to
my first
happen.
time in here? Yeah.
Um, I think that's great, actually. Yeah. Um, Remind me what you get to say or ask.
So when I first enter a location, I can ask what is about to happen. You will answer truthfully, but not necessarily completely. If I've marked the sandstone arch, I can also ask, why is it about to happen?
I'm going to interpret this differently, or interpret this to say you're going to find Taylor and Amber's sign in to TV Odyssey. Even though they're not actually signing in, they look like they're signed in on your end. And if you look up at the clock face above the desk, it's as if they signed in right now. And so you know they're here with you. You know they're here. In some other place, in some other way, the others are here.
Got it. Well, with composure, that's a 10.
Nice. I will give you a clue as well. As you're, we'll get to the clue in a moment, but the young woman at the desk, her name is Rebecca. Rebecca says, "So yeah, people who are here for the first time to record, I'm supposed to give you a quick tour of the place. Do you want to do that now, or?"
She looks up and she's dressed in a sort of like women's baseball or softball uniform from like the 1930s. And she says, yeah, do you have a pencil or pen that I can sign this with?
Yeah, sure. Here you go. And she gives you or actually, no, she says, "No, well, right here." And she pulls out a string from the spine, and there's a pencil or there's a pen like taped to the string so that you can sign in.
And I'm going to write Taylor, Amber, help here, Shane, and like just
Nice,
like scribble it as quickly as I can, then walk with her.
fantastic. That's good. Let me give you a clue. The clue is as she gets up to show you around, she pointedly pulls her. She has like a underneath her flannel. She has like a. She looks like she's wearing like long johns, right? So she has like this white like long john fabric, and she pulls that really like purposely over her hand a little bit to hide something that was there. She had something tattooed on her hand that she doesn't want you to see. That's your clue. Now, type that clue into the character keeper, but highlight it in pink because you have to be able to convey that to Taylor and Amber in some manner. You can follow up on that a little bit too as you're kind of like walking with her. I can give you more detail about the tattoo, or we can say that you can see closer what it is. But she says, yeah, well, this is the lobby. And she takes you down the little hall. She says, okay, so this room right here, this is the editing bay. So once you are done recording, you're going to take everything, you take whatever they give you and just, bring it here. And Eddie will start getting it edited for you. He's really, really good at his job. Trust me, we have a lot of lunatics who come in here to record things, and he somehow manages to make them seem a little less like they should be in a padded cell. Okay, so he's a wizard.
Eddie
Uh,
the editor?
Do what? Eddie the editor, yeah.
Eddie the editor.
Indeed. She takes you to the next room and she's like, okay, and here's you don't need to worry about this, but this is where we kind of like broadcast everything. This is the broadcast booth. And then she goes down to there's like not a T-shaped corridor, but there's a room at the far end and then the hallway that splits off. That right there, that is the janitor's closet. You're gonna want to stay out of there if you can avoid it.
Why would I
Don't
want to
ever
go in the
go in.
janitor's closet?
Just don't ever go into the janitor's closet. And then she gets really close to you and she says, the janitor's closet leads to station management, and you definitely don't want to run into station management.
Question
Yeah.
out of character. Do we remember watching PEP 016? Because that was the one that Zachary went out on. Like, do we actually remember watching that tape?
You might, yeah.
Okay.
You all, yeah. I mean, yeah, you all would have watched it, I think, or you would have, or I don't know. Who knows? You can decide.
Yeah.
What did you have in mind?
I was going to ask her. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of these nuts on here. There's that, I don't know, that teenage girl with the red hair, the one who did like call-ins, Pepper, I think it was, Pep Talk.
Oh, Pep Talk, yeah. Oh boy. Pep Talk. We had to put the 86 on Pep Talk after all those kids started killing themselves. Yikes.
Where was that filmed?
Oh, well, so glad you asked. And then she takes you down that side hallway and she shows you 3 recording studios. And they're all in different states of transition between different shows, different backdrops, different things like that. She's like, once you got all your stuff, I don't know if you have any if you need any set dressing, we do have some stuff that you can kind of move around and do as you wish. If you're one of those people who just likes to talk on mic for a long time, who just likes to get right into it, you can just sit on the chair and we can point the camera at you. That's totally fine. But yeah, we got couches and backdrops and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so these are your 3 recording studios. The men's and women's room are right there across the way. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to my desk. You got this all filled in? Great, thank you. She closes the book. Yeah, go ahead and just head to one of the recording bays. Get going if you want. Do not go into the janitorial closet. And she goes back to her desk.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen a big man around here? Like a really tall gentleman, yellow suit, cowboy hat.
Oh,
Really, really, really big.
You mean our cameraman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's probably setting up in one of the studios.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
And she turns and she's like in a full suit of plate armor, like Joan of Arc, and she'll head towards one of the recording booths.
I love it. Taylor and Amber, everything is it's as I the layout is the same, except it's not well lit and clean-ish. It is it's a it almost looks like the place was dropped there, right? Like parts of the roof is sagging. You have to kind of like crawl under and over things to navigate through the halls. But the spaces are basically the same at a glance. There's the editing bay, there's the broadcast booth, there's the three studios, there's the janitorial closet. Amber, you see the skeleton at the desk. We both do. And the skeleton is there, and it's almost like it looks like it's almost like holding open the sign-in book as you walk in. What do you do? This is for either of you.
I would like to look at the bones and see if I can make a guess how old they are. I mean, I am a biologist.
It's true. Yeah. Go ahead and make the meddling move with reason. Let me glance at your conditions. I don't think your conditions would really affect you here. What are you doing, Amber?
I think I want to check out the rubble. If there's anything under it, anything I can spot.
Yeah, you can kind of like just look around things. I think just kind of generally looking around the place I think is perfectly fine. You can also make the meddling move with reason.
Mhm.
I rolled a 6.
A 6. We will get to that in a moment.
Me too.
2 6s. Great.
We're doing great.
Twinsies.
Indeed. Shane, where do you head once Rebecca is done with you?
Go in the janitor's closet.
You go to the janitor's closet, and do you just like barge right in there? Do you sneak in there? What do you do? What does it look like?
It's a little more sneaky. But I look around first, make sure, Rebecca's not watching or anything like that. And then just kind of like jiggle the handle to make sure it's locked or not locked.
It opens up. Do you go inside?
I open it up, crack it open, but I don't go inside. I just want to see what's in there first.
When you open the door, there's a man standing there staring at you like he was waiting on you. He is wearing a blue, like janitor's jumpsuit. He has his name embroidered on the breast of his jumpsuit. His name is Cliff. He's holding a mop. And he says, "Howdy do."
Hi, Cliff.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to speak with management.
He looks up and he looks past you, like he's looking over your shoulder, Shane, like he's looking at something in the lobby. And he says, "Yeah, that way." And he points like deeper into the janitorial closet. But then he goes, "You can find it. I gotta go take care of a problem." And he steps out into the hall and makes his way toward the lobby. Amber and Taylor, it was very quiet when you walked in. But now you hear something. Something in the
Okay.
hall rattling around. You hear things moving and shifting, tumbling. And then you hear, "Oh! Oh!" Whatever whatever it is, it's getting closer and it's coming into the lobby. What do you both do?
Hide behind the counter,
Amber.
the reception counter.
Out of character, do you want to turn a key? Because I could.
Well, we both have to if we.
I mean, this is the consequence of your failure, is what's happening right now. So if you want to avoid that, you can turn keys, but otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just curious if it would be enough if one person turns a key or if both of us would have
I
to.
don't.
May depend quite a lot on what key you turn and who's turning the key, and
Does the mystery have a key?
not a specific one to it, no.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking about individual keys.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I will turn a key because
Me too.
What
death and stuff.
are
I don't know.
are either of you marking the chromatic desert?
Not yet.
No,
Before we get too far, who owes narration on a key from last time?
both of us, because it was the mystery's key.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the mystery's key?
Narrative flashback where your character took a big risk or beat the odds at the expense of someone unexpected.
This is a perfect time to narrate that right now, I think, and then we'll
Mhm.
see how the scene actually resolves.
But I haven't pushed Amber in front of the monster yet. So.
Not yet, indeed. If you're ready to do that, go ahead and narrate
Yeah.
that key. That's great.
I'm ready. So, Taylor, as a university student, was always somewhat diligent and but not the best student. So the professors were quite surprised when they decided to pursue a PhD. And looking for a topic on which to write that is always a very difficult thing. So after a lecture with one of her professors, when the prof was talking to another student, Taylor snuck, we see Taylor sneaking behind the prof's desk where their laptop is still open and checking something. And a day later, the prof reaches out to Taylor. No. Taylor reaches out to the prof, saying that she would be very interested in doing her thesis on bioluminescent algae. It's just something that she has always been interested in her whole life. And if only she were to find a professor interested in that same topic. And it just so happens Prof was very into that. And Taylor got the PhD topic and a full scholarship for the duration of writing her thesis, while a friend or an acquaintance got rejected by said prof because their topic was a little too far off. I mean, it was about algae, but not that particular kind, and you have to choose your students wisely.
Amber, are you ready to narrate?
Mm-hmm. So this scene doesn't take place in New Mexico. It's rather the Pacific Northwest. We see a site of a car crash. There's an ambulance, and someone is put in a body bag. And if the camera zooms out a bit, you can see there's a camping van that hit a moose. So there's a dead animal, huge dead animal in front. There's blood on the windshield, and whoever drove died, but Amber, who was sitting on the passenger seat, now is we can see her now. She's like 9 or 10 years old, and she's interviewed by a police officer, and she's wrapped in a blanket, and she's not harmed at all. And the officer goes like, "Well, you've been quite lucky, kid. Can you can you tell me again who that driver is? You said you're not related?" And you can see Amber clearly being in shock and saying, "Actually, I don't really know her."
Now, you also both marked new keys in order to avoid these sixes, which is good, which means you find clues. Taylor, you said you were investigating the body, the skeleton, to see how long it's been there. I would say it's been there long enough, at least a decade, maybe a little longer. The bones are, I mean, they're just kind of covered in like just little bits of dried flesh at this point. All of the internal organs are collected at the base of the rib cage, just dried up, shriveled bits of organ jerky. The flannel is in reasonably good shape, but worn through with holes. Your clue is that this person, the skeleton, is handcuffed to the desk, and the desk is bolted down into the floor. That's your clue. Amber, you find a clue as well as you're moving aside the rubble. Indeed, there's a bit of like a collapsed ceiling that caused a couple of like bookcases to kind of like tumble over. And if you move some of those things out of the way, this is still in the lobby, you will see smeared on the wall in something dark and dried up, I do not want to speculate on what it might be, says, "They did it. There's no turning back. The camera was the key." That message is your clue. Shane, are you going into the janitorial closet to go find station management?
Yeah, but I'm wondering before I go in, did I get a good enough look at Rebecca's tattoo to see what it was?
I'm going to say that you did, and you can, as a player, decide what that is to help you with the answer to the question. So
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do was to get it out of the pink
either now or
was
later, but
to,
yeah.
yeah, was I wanted to see if there's like a maybe a marker or something like that, or something that I could like engrave on the door because I
Oh,
know that
nice.
Shane and Amber are here. They're
Yeah,
overlaid on me,
yeah.
so I want to just like write it on the door so they could see it.
I love it. They will see it, and that's good enough to get the clue on the table. What do you want to say what the symbol is now, or do you want to just wait, save it for later?
I'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can unmark that clue. You can unhighlight that clue though. It's available now. You
Um,
all will see that symbol scratched on the door at the far end of the hall eventually.
but yeah, I will. I'll just sort of watch him go into the lobby, and then yeah, I'll step in. I'm gonna keep the door open though. I don't trust
Hmm.
the door to shut on me.
If you hang left immediately in the janitorial closet behind a stack of boxes of blue cleaning solution and mop buckets, you'll see that it's the top landing of a set of stairs going down. Intriguingly, above the stairway is an exit sign. What do you do?
I see if there's like a mop or something that I could just kind of like wield as a weapon if I need to.
Sure, yeah, you can.
Um,
Yeah. Snap it in
Uh,
half. And-
yeah, kind of break it over
yeah.
my knee, and now
Yeah.
I'm dressed as Dolly Parton, and I'm heading deeper in with my
Nice.
giant sequin gown.
You wobble down the stairs. I'm not sure how accustomed you are to walking in 6-inch heels,
Not at all.
especially traversing stairs, but down you go, dipping to make sure that your tall pile of blonde hair can not get caught up in the ceiling. The stairs go down and then they switch back once more. And in front of you, at the base, at the bottom of the stairs, there's a single door. Above the door, there is a plaque or a sign that says Station Management. And the door is vibrating. Thrumming with energy. What do you do?
I'm gonna use sight beyond sight again. I want to know what is going to happen if I go in, and why is it about to happen?
If you go in, you're going to find a group of people who are referred to colloquially as the Station Management. The reason why they're down there is because they are trapped. They are trapped. And all of this is just a way of escaping or trying to escape.
And yeah, I think feeling that sort of sense of being trapped, she's gonna like kick the door open.
I want the night move first.
Yeah, let's
What
do
are you
that.
afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve here?
I think I'll kick the door open, but I'll just sort of be blasted with what otherworldly vibrations are emanating from this place.
It's worse than that. You become dissolved immediately into a pure white signal. If you wish to continue, you are going to roll with sensitivity.
I imagine
Also,
don't
don't
open the
open the
door.
door.
Yeah.
Don't open the door is absolutely coming into play here to put you at disadvantage.
Yeah. Well, that is a sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a 7.
7. You kick open the door and you behold them. Taylor and Amber, you found some clues. There's something going on. There's something to do with the camera. Whatever they were doing, some people were here under duress and not wanting to do it. Um, you see this weird symbol down the hall on one of the doors. What do you do next?
Um, well, as I check out the skeleton, I would like to also look at the ledger, of course.
You will find the message written hastily on the last page. It's the page that it's open to. It's from someone who quickly signs their name Shane. You have no idea who that is, but they know you because they've said Taylor and Amber. And what was the message again, Shane?
Taylor, Amber, I'm here. Help me. Shane.
That's the message.
Oh God.
Not a clue, but very good information.
Mhm. Yeah. Psst, Amber,
Yeah, what's
do
up?
you know someone? Do you know someone called Shane? Check this out. This
Shane?
can't be. This can't be a coincidence. It's our names.
Yeah, but
Someone left this here for us.
the guy we met was named Zach, right?
Yeah,
Huh.
but I mean, this can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Ah, I. Is there still a pencil around?
There is still a pen there, yeah.
I
It's
use it
totally
to.
dried up.
Of course it is. I lick it. I try to. I don't know.
You can
Amber,
there's enough to
give me
draw
your hand.
one letter or symbol.
Oh no. Okay. Amber, do you have black nail polish on right now?
Yeah. Why?
Give me your hand.
And I do.
And I don't know if this is high quality nail polish, but if it isn't, it will rub off when you rub your nail against something. And I'll try to write something with Amber's nails.
I'll give you 3 letters or symbols.
Okay. How?
Perfect. We'll see if Shane ever finds that.
Yeah. Um, Taylor, I think we should check for cameras. The camera was the key, is written on the wall. That has to mean something. And I'm gonna look for recording room.
The station is not huge. There's just the few rooms that I've pointed out. It's pretty easy to navigate the halls, even though, because you do have the emergency lights on, so you can see well enough. It's, I wouldn't say it's like dangerous, but it's definitely like a little annoying to have to like climb over overturned furniture and partially collapsed ceilings, kind of like ceilings kind of hanging down, that kind of thing, ceiling panels. Um, but you can, and you'll see the different bays and booths, and then you'll see the 3 recording studios. Go ahead and make. How are you doing your search, Amber? What are you doing? Just looking through them, or what?
Mm, yeah, I think I'll open the doors, look inside, and see if there's a camera. And if there is one, I'm definitely gonna touch it.
Make a. Um, I'm not going to invoke the night move yet. Go ahead and make the meddling move with composure.
Mhm. That's an 11.
Nice. Taylor, what do you do after you're done writing your message?
Is the sound still coming from wherever it is was coming from?
The vibrating sound that Shane heard, or
Wasn't
some
there
other
a
sound?
sound at our place as well? Some
Oh,
kind
that's
of
that.
moaning?
No, that got totally vanished away because you turned keys. So, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Well,
Although I
then,
will note that that door that the symbol was written on, the janitorial closet door, I think you'll look back to notice that it's actually hanging open suddenly.
mhm.
It was definitely closed when you first came by, and now it's
Okay.
definitely open.
Well, I would like to check for security cameras, actually, not regular cameras, but security cameras.
Like that might be posted in the station?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting. Probably your best bet is to go into either the editing bay or the broadcast booth where they would have
Hmm.
like if there are such things, if there's footage from such things, that might be where they're at.
Yeah.
Which one
Yeah.
first?
The editing bay.
When you go inside the editing bay, you find another one of these skeletons handcuffed to its chair.
Oh, great. How
This
nice.
skeleton is wearing a floral print shirt and again slumped over the editing bay
Mhm.
with it's got a ball cap on that has the Budweiser frogs on it.
Hmm.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
I would like to just look around and see if there's a box or a shelf marked something like surveillance or something.
Go ahead and make the move, the meddling move with reason.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh, nice. That's an 11.
Nice. So we have two 10 pluses on the table, right?
Ah,
Oh, you two clues. We'll get to that in a moment. Shane, station management. They, like you, have shifting forms. When you first behold them, they look like a group of people sitting at a conference table having a meeting, dressed in black, sensible suits, probably procured from Banana Republic. But then sometimes they shift and they appear as a different collection of people. For example, right now, at this exact moment, as you stare at them, as you behold them, they appear to be a group of people arranged upright, arms crossed in open sarcophagi. But then later they appear as a group of people in cryosleep chambers a la Alien. Everyone else, please describe a different appearance of station management.
they are a group of dancers in flamenco shirts and suits, and music is blaring through the loudspeakers, and they desperately swing their legs with an expression of sheer terror on their faces.
I think they look like characters from, let's say, a 40s, what's it called again? Noir crime movie with top hats and suits, and they're all smoking.
Shane, what do you do?
I think that I think this whole time, as she's been sort of shifting between realities, that she's starting to sync up with them, and now she's sort of like in this sort of like gangster mall outfit, like 1940s hair.
I love it. Let's pick up with that. You just walked into a dim and smoky bar. I'd like for you to narrate what you see in the first person, please.
It was shadowy here in this bar, and all eyes seemed to be on me as soon as I passed through that door. Smoke was everywhere, uh, coming off of the mouths of these men, looking at me, leering at me. I didn't know what to make of it, but I was here after all, and it's all I could do was be here. And so I went up to one of them and pulled out a cigarette, and she pulled out a cigarette out of her non-existent purse. And I asked one of them, "You got a light?"
This person looks up at you and says, I have a light. I have a light because I am the keeper of the flame. He lights the lighter. I am the keeper of the flame that holds forth the dark hordes. I am the bearer of the torch that pierces the infinite night. When you are pulling your arms tight in your cave, wondering if you and your family will survive another night of terrors, know that the answer is yes, because I am there, ever watchful.
Thanks, doll. And she leans in and lights her cigarette on it.
Go ahead and make the meddling move with presence. No, sensitivity.
Do any of my conditions come into play here?
Let's take a look. He watched it all happen? Maybe. Don't open the door, God is dead. No, just roll regular, it's fine.
That is a 10.
Nice. We'll find out what you find out. I owe you all a bunch of clues. Let's take a 5-minute break so I can think about clues, and then we'll come back and reveal things. 3 clues owed. The first, Shane, that sort of noir, gangster noir thing going on changes again. You're still in the room with this group of people, but now you're back at the conference table, and there's a person directly across from you at the table that says, "The thing that's holding us here, it only understands artifice. It only understands performance. It's the only way to communicate with it." That's your clue. Taylor, you do find security footage tape, and they're all labeled by date, and you can find the most recent one, which is probably the most relevant one, and you can pop it into the editing bay and you can review the footage. The interior footage doesn't show anything particularly interesting. It's mostly just static hallways. Occasionally somebody walks by. More interesting is the footage of the cameras outside of the studio. On the last day, they show the parking lot of the TV station. You might even recognize something in the background that's in Deep Lake. You see the parking lot. You see cars. You see just inside the frame. You see just inside the frame something rising up. Something rising up and casting a shadow that stretches over the parking lot and over the cars. And in the very final flicker of the footage, whatever it is titanic, and it looks back at you with a single enormous glowing eye. That's your clue. Amber, the 2 recording bays are mostly just, or 2 of the recording bays are mostly just sets, half done, set up for different types of shows. One looks like a kind of like it was like a cooking demonstration. There's like shattered mixing bowls and mixers and things on a stand. Another one looks like it was some kind of like talk show. There's an old couch and a little coffee table, and it looks like a place people are meant to sit and chat. For our purposes, the third bay is the one that's interesting. That bay, that bay has a person bound to the wall by what appears to be thousands of strands of VHS tape. It's as if someone took a bunch of VHS tape and made like a nest, but not really a nest, more like a spider's web. And there's a person caught up in this spider's web of tape attached to the wall. You'll have to go inside. You're just looking through the little window right now. You'll have to go inside to look more closely. Since you got a 10 plus, I'll let you do so free and clear. Do you go in?
I do, yeah.
There is, when you walk in, a video camera pointing outward, like at you as you walk in, before this person who's cocooned in VHS tape up against the wall. And the person who's cocooned in the VHS tape, it's a skeleton, but it's a skeleton wearing a cowboy hat and a bolo tie shaped like the sun. All of that is your clue. You can make what you will of it.
All right.
I feel
I
like
think
you're all
I'll
getting.
take the bolo tie and show it to Taylor.
Yeah, you can go find Taylor in the editing bay. Taylor, you've just glimpsed this entity in the footage.
Mhm.
We'll just pick up the scene from there.
And did I get that correctly? That the entity was looming over the tower somewhat.
It was kind of like it was almost like rising up, like facing the
Mhm.
station, and you saw this eye briefly.
Mm. Okay, Amber, I think you should see this. I found some security footage.
Sure. Should I see it or do I have to see it?
You have to see it, I think.
All right.
Just the last couple of seconds. And I show her and I pause the tape where the one-eyed thing is looking at the camera.
You can definitely see it. It's definitely there. It's
What do you think we have here?
I've got no fucking idea, but it's not good. Also, look what I found. So either this kind of fashion was like mandatory, and several people were wearing cowboy hats and bolo ties shaped like the sun, or something happened to our friend or his form at
Oh
some
no.
point. I mean, he's not a real person, so it should be fine, but still.
What do you mean he's not a real person? I mean, he was real enough.
Yeah, but he's kind of an entity as well. He appeared in one of our dreams, or in our dreams. So
Yeah, but then again, we are here now, and we don't know if we appear in other people's dreams. So maybe
ooh, do you think
we're
I
the
could
same kind
I
of
could I
entity
could
now.
haunt like Renita's nightmares or something? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. Maybe we'll never get out of here and end up just like, I mean, at least there's no one chaining us to desks and walls yet.
Hmm.
Shane, I don't think there's anything else to learn from station management. What do you do?
Well, if they're gonna let me go,
They will.
yeah,
They stop even being aware of you at a certain point.
as they're sort of caught in their flux, I think at this point, Shane's form finally settles on something. It's the first outfit that she wore when she came to Deep Lake,
Mm.
the scarf. And she kind of breathes a sigh of relief that she's no longer in this kind of like instability. Um, but yeah, she'll make her way up, uh, back out um, from the janitor's closet. But she does want to seek out and see if the big man is actually behind the camera.
Seek and you shall find. As soon as you get to the top of the stairs, the big man, as you know him, is in the janitor's closet, like he's waiting on you. Except he looks a little different. He's wearing like a Western shirt with pearl buttons that look like they're ready to burst because it just barely fits. Still got his cowboy hat, still got his bolo tie, but jeans and a Western wear shirt. And he looks considerably healthier than when you last saw him. He says, "Well, hey there, little doggy. I heard you're recording a talk show or something. Well, I'm all ready for you when you are."
You look different. I haven't seen you dressed down before.
Oh, have we met?
I
Oh,
don't know. Have we?
oh, I'm awfully sorry. I how silly of me. It's so good to see you again. I I don't I don't owe you money, do I? Or do do I did you have a child by me?
No, no,
Oh,
ew,
go
no,
good. Oh, sorry.
no.
Yeah. Uh, how do we know each other again?
Yeah, maybe we don't. Maybe you just remind me of someone I knew back
I
in Deep
get that a
Lake.
lot. I've got one of those faces.
And one of those heights too.
I am a big old boy. That is true. A big old boy. My mama used to say, "Son, there ain't no bigger boy than you. Ain't never gonna be one bigger than you. You got a big heart, though, too." And I think that's right. I do got a big heart.
How profound.
Well, I guess it's time to get the show started.
Right, right. So, what is your show about? What are we going to be doing here today? Not that it matters too much. I just point the camera at whatever needs to be pointed at.
I was just gonna kind of wing it.
Oh, all right, all right. Sounds good, sounds good. We get a lot of folks
You,
who like to just talk to the camera, you know. Guess it's like therapy. Not saying that's what's your situation, but you do look a
no,
little
no.
forlorn, though.
Well, I was actually gonna ask you, um, do you know two people? They were here at some point. Amber and Taylor. One is kind of looks like Morticia Adams. The other one is kind of like short, dark hair, kind of butch.
Uh, well, we get a lot of types in here.
They would have been
Uh,
together.
would they now? Would they now? Go ahead and make the meddling move with presence.
Any conditions?
I don't think so.
Damn. Uh, that is going to be a, you said presence?
Yep.
Gonna be a 5.
He says, "Oh, now come to think of it, I do remember them. Oh, yes, yes, I remember them well. Well, in fact, I think they're here right now, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I remember seeing two people in the lobby earlier that fit that description, at least. They friends of yours?"
Something like that. But I am gonna mark a key of the child.
Oh. Well, we'll keep the scene going. He says,
Yeah.
I think the janitor, Cliff, is looking for him right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, um,
Nothing you need to worry yourself with, I'm sure.
no, no, we
Now,
should
out of
just,
character,
yeah.
if you don't turn a key, it sounds like you are, but if you don't, Cliff is hunting Taylor and Amber once again.
Oh, well, now that you tell me that, I'm unmarking that key. I want that to happen.
Indeed. He says, you don't need to worry about that. Cliff's got it under control, I'm sure. I don't know what he wants with him. And he takes you to the recording bay. Taylor, Amber, you have rewound and paused that video several times now. And you realize that the security lights out in the hall have gone off.
Hmm.
Maybe they finally ran out of
Um,
battery.
what are the odds that the security lights will run out of battery now? Or do we think that someone's here with us?
I mean, given the luck that we have, what do you think is more likely?
Well, let's check out the. Can I see the big man?
Oh, you want to go outside in the hall to go to to see the corpse?
Mm-hmm.
You can step out into
Is
the hall.
mm-hmm.
The lights are off. Do you have a light source? Or are you just going to go in the dark?
I'm just gonna go in the dark.
What about you, Amber?
I'll join Taylor. I don't leave them alone.
It's slow going as you feel your way around the rubble in the dark. You don't have far to go, but you can't see. You're getting ready to make that turn to go to where the recording bays are. And at that point, that deep into the station, it's pitch black. And that's when you hear I want
That doesn't sound good.
it's not good. Taylor, we'll start with you. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if this goes badly? Or if you just lose your nerve?
I'm afraid that I will panic, run, trip, fall, break my neck.
It is worse than that. You're going to find out why he's called Cliff. Amber, what are you scared of right now?
I am scared of being separated and not finding Taylor again, getting lost.
Oh, interesting. It's worse than that, or really, I'll just say it's more precise than that. It's because you will end up in the chromatic desert in a way that you might not like. If you wish to continue going toward the bay in the dark, you may roll each of you composure.
Of course.
I think evil is like gravity is going to be affecting you here, Taylor. So I'm going to give you that, especially the particular evil. The particular evil that is Cliff.
And but I rolled a 12. I rolled a 12. Okay, let's see
with
what
disadvantage.
The third
With
dice
disadvantage,
says.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay, well, it's still 10, 11. sort
Okay,
of.
you're good. You're good. What about you, Amber?
Okay. Let's see. Um, I've got a 13.
Nice. I'll give you the bonus. The bonus is the emergency lights come back on as you make your way to the studio bay. Still no sign of what was causing that noise. But you see the camera, you see the man bound up in the piles of VHS tape up against the wall.
Oh no.
Shane,
I would.
you got a clue, right?
No, I didn't turn the key, so I didn't get a clue.
Oh, you didn't turn a key. That's right. That's right. Well, you're in the bay now. You do have one clue that you have to find a way to convey to the others, which is that the entity only understands artifice. Everything is performance. Um, you're here in front of a camera that the cameraman has set down in front of you. It says, "All right then. What are we doing?"
It just kind of freezes over. Um, it's like sort of deer in the headlights look in her eyes. And I imagine too, like maybe the lights just sort of come on, and she's like, again, I think I'm just gonna wing it.
All right, well, you give me the thumbs up and I'll start recording. Nice thing about video is it's very, very easy to edit.
Right. And then she's gonna like very clunkily start to like, after a few moments of terrified hesitation, start to like tap on the floor, like she's trying to tap dance, and she'll sort of mumble out, "Anything goes." And yeah, I think she's sort of like starts to pick up the sound, and she starts to like almost start jumping and pouncing on the floor, almost as if trying to like communicate that she's there, hoping that she's doing it with enough force that it sort of maybe like that maybe like Taylor and Amber can hear it.
I don't know if that you hear anything, Taylor or Amber, but you are here in the same bay, much different, and the camera is there. What do you do?
Check if there is a tape in there still.
There is
Of
a tape,
course,
and you can
obviously.
actually play it right there on the video camera on its little screen to see what's on it. And
Perfect.
Let's do it.
you see recording you see a recording of a young woman you don't recognize jumping up and down in this very recording studio. Unclear what she's doing, but
Is this enough to unlock the clue though? Because it's performance.
I don't think so. I think you gotta like communicate a little bit more directly.
All
But
right.
yeah, you're jumping up and you're jumping up and down. They're seeing the video of you jumping up and down. The cameraman says, "Oh, this is real riveting, honey. I'm sure the folks at home are really gonna love this."
Anything goes.
Of course, I recognize the voice of the cameraman.
Well, you can't hear the cameraman. Like this is all just from Shane's perspective. He says, maybe you ought to move on to the next part of your program. This is very weird, even for TV Odyssey."
Fine. Okay. And she stops. She says, those two, Amber and Taylor, you said they'd be in the lobby.
He's hit. He hasn't. He every time he speaks, he pauses the recording, right? And he says, "Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, yes, I suppose. Why?"
I I, I need to get to them. I need to. I don't know how to. I don't. I don't know how to explain it, but I need to get to them.
So he lifts up the camera. He's like, "I mean, I can take this thing on the go. Are we doing like a? Is this like a candid camera thing, or what are we doing here?"
Um, do you have like cue cards?
Sure.
Okay, give me a marker and cue cards, and keep the tape rolling. Same
Okay.
tape.
I've hit record, honey.
And she'll
And
just start writing on the cue cards.
you see Shane, or this woman writing on the cue cards in the video. You have direct line of communication here, Shane. What are you doing?
Um, she's gonna say, just gonna write on it, Taylor, Amber, it's me, Shane. I know you're here. Next card. Everything is artifice. This is performance. And just sort of flashed up.
Taylor, can you see that? That's like Love Actually. I think she's gonna confess to someone.
To us. Maybe. Did you see that she wrote our names again? She's directly addressing us.
Oh, do you think she fancies me?
Not everyone fancies you, Amber. As much as you might think they do. I'm sorry, and that's really not what we should be focusing on right now.
All right.
Is that this lady who died, all we know is, for all that we know, she died here on that day the video was shot. She's trying to tell us something. Or she knew that we were coming, or maybe she saw us in a video, or she obviously knows us, even if we don't know her. Do you think we could communicate back if we shoot a video of us and put it in here?
Sure.
The camera seems like it has a full battery.
Okay, let's do it.
What do you do?
Are there
Come
also
here,
cue cards?
Amber.
I think there are no more cue cards
Fair
around.
We can just talk, right? Is there sound? Yes, there's sound.
There's sound, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I press record and then stand in front of the camera and drag Amber in front of the camera and say, what's the year again?
It's 2004 where you're at.
Oh yeah, 2004. This is Taylor and Amber in 2004. We don't know you, but thank you for trying to communicate with us. Are you a ghost from the past? How can we help you? Does this even work? Amber, say something. I elbow Amber.
To me, you are perfect.
Don't try to hit on the random death
No,
girl
that's
from
a
the
reference
past
to the
trying
movie.
con-
She's actually utilizing, Love Actually. Came
I
out
don't
last
think writing
year.
on cards is referencing a movie. Shut up. Now I push Amber out of the frame. Okay, so we are kind of maybe trapped here. And if you have any idea on what we are even supposed to do now, I mean, we wanted to find the tower, but now we did, but now we're in the tower and not home. And Jesus Christ, I turned the camera off. I don't know what I'm doing.
The cameraman, Shane, says, well, there's something funny going on with the camera. Hold on here a second. What in the heck? And he says, come look at this. Is your name Shane?
Yes.
And he shows you. It's exactly as Taylor and Amber just narrated.
She's watching very confused. Not because she doesn't know them, but because they're blathering on and talking about Love Actually. But she's like that's them. That's Amber and Taylor.
Whew, this is a weird old day. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Oh, this is strange stuff. I need a cigarette and some poontang. And he just like leaves you with the camera and walks out.
And so, well, first of all, was that video message to them, was that enough to unlock the clue?
You did, yeah.
Very
You can,
cool.
yeah. I think you can have another. Well, I don't know if it's a clue, but no, I think this is good. I think you figured out that the direct line of communication between worlds and with this entity that you know, Shane, is via performance, via the camera.
Well, what I want to do is, like, I'm interested in connecting with them, but I'm interested in what else is on this tape. So I want to go as far back to the beginning as I can and
Nice.
scrub it and see if I can pick up any other information.
I love it. Make a meddling move with reason.
Yep. Conditions?
Nope.
All right. It is going to be a 9.
You're going to get your clue, but you're both going to discover, both of you, both teams, in both places, that the battery is dying on the camera. If you bump up your roll, the battery stays fresh.
I like the tension of the battery dying.
Indeed. Not much time left. That could be our timer here. But let's figure out the clue here. You can go back to something that was recorded. It must have been the day before, maybe even earlier that day, Shane. And it's very strange. It appears to be like a call-in show, and an old man wearing a red velvet smoking jacket, big mane of silver hair, is sitting next to a fake fireplace, and he's taking calls, and you can hear the caller overhead, right? And the old man says, "Well, caller, I'm so happy you got in touch with us again. This is really excellent. We've been wondering if we were ever going to hear from you again, but now that we have, I'm very, very happy indeed. So, caller, I have to ask you, what will it take? What will it take for you to let the Flamekeepers go? I mean, what do we have to do here?" And the caller, it just speaks in a voice that sounds like several voices muffled, like well, now that's very, very unreasonable, caller. But I hear you. I hear you. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. All right. Well, let's see. Let's go into our next segment, folks. And that is your clue. You can define it however you want on the sheet.
Okay.
And that's when you also get the little beep, beep, beep. You both do. Beep, beep, beep. The battery is getting low.
She's gonna, as quickly as possible, if she can, she doesn't mind taping over this to just get the message to Taylor and Amber, but she's just gonna say before the battery on her end dies, just says Firekeepers. And I think that's when like cuts out for her.
You have a single clue here. The Flamekeepers, actually. The
Flamekeepers.
The Flamekeepers is the clue, and they're trapped, I guess you all know. You don't have a lot of time left if you're going to use this camera for something. You do have a grand total of 7 clues now. You have to answer the question, how did the station destabilize time and space in Nagoya County? You have to figure that out in order to reverse whatever they did, and then presumably be freed from this place. But I haven't promised that necessarily. It might depend on how well the die roll goes. But in any case, is there any other last bits of investigation you want to do before we start answering this question?
Yes, actually.
Mm.
I would. Okay, stupid question. So the tower is in the cave, which
The
means the
station and
parking
the
lot.
tower, yeah.
The parking lot isn't.
I
Or
don't
is
know.
it?
Maybe you can go out there and see. There might be some of it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I would like to investigate the parking lot to
Ah,
see
good.
where that creature thingy thing.
Make a I think this is with composure, because this is a nervy thing to do to go back outside at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Make the meddling move with composure.
Yeah.
And
And I
because
would like
evil
to.
is gravity, is like gravity, I'm going to put you at disadvantage as well.
But I would like to use my pH testing kit for detecting non-human matter.
Oh, okay. I'm into that. Let's roll dice first. I'll let you use it, but we'll figure out the narration in a minute.
Mm-hmm. That's 8.
Amber, what are you doing in the meantime?
Checking
You
the
can
vending
always come with
machine
me.
for snacks. I don't think she's doing any more investigation.
Taylor, you go out around back, and indeed, it does appear that whatever happened to the station, it looks like it was ripped up, because you do see the foundation of the building, but also you see bits of the parking lot as well. And this is behind the station, on the other side of where you came in from. But when you go back there, you see what appears to be behind the station. It just drops off a cliff, descending into a void of nothingness. You might even see bits of rubble and matter still kind of like slowly falling down into the blackness. And you got a mid result, right?
Yeah.
I would like to suggest that, because you described because you said you weren't going to use your kit, you take some samples, and from the edge of the cliff, there is some like slimy matter that you are instantly able to tell it is not biologically compatible with anything found on Earth. And then you hear,
From the pit?
no, from behind you. You see
great.
a man
Fantastic.
standing there on the other side of you. You're between the drop off and him.
Mm.
He is wearing a blue janitor's jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps closely towards you and he says, "You don't belong here." And he gives you a short, sharp shove to push you off the cliff. I would like the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Well, obviously, I'm
Or how are
going
you
to
going to
fall
resist?
and
Yeah,
fall forever.
indeed. How do you resist him? What do you do?
I grab his arms.
Mhm.
He's shoving me, and I try to grab his arms or shoulders, whatever I can reach, while he shoves me so that I can hold on to him.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, yes, falling off into oblivion would be bad. I'm not sure that it's can get worse than that. So we're gonna just roll with. It's
And
gonna be
also
with.
keep falling forever. That's what I'm afraid of.
It's gonna be
Because
with
it goes to,
vitality, which is good for you.
yeah,
But evil is like
yeah, of
gravity,
course.
so you're at
Of course.
disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay. That's still a 9.
You will be able to. I think there's going to be a struggle. There's going to be a struggle with him as he tries to like push you off, but also when he realizes you're grabbing him, he kind of like has to shift his weight because he doesn't want to go over. And he actually sinks his hands into the muscle of your arm. You can kind of see
Ouch.
he has like curved barbs on the ends of his fingertips and he's just digging into your flesh. I'm going to give you a condition. He's basically torn the muscles in your arms to make them
Ouch.
non-functional as arms right now, but you do manage to rip free and kind of toss him off. And then you
I
can kind of,
shout for Amber.
yeah. Amber, you hear the commotion outside. What do you do?
Well, I go outside and see what's up.
Hit him over the head with a bottle of Coke or a Snickers or whatever.
You see Amber, or Amber, you see Taylor bleeding outside, back by this, well, this cliff face behind the building.
And that person is still there.
They're gone.
Okay.
What? No.
They fell over the side, but Taylor is
Oh
fine.
no, they did.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, you
So
managed to
Interrogation for-
wrench them over the side.
yeah, I help up Taylor.
Ouch, ouch. Not the arm. There was this guy, he tried to push me. The janitor, I think. How many more people do you think are here?
Well, there's Zach and Shane and the janitor, and that's it. I mean, we shouldn't find out. We should just.
Any more surprise visitors? He said we didn't belong here, which is kind of obvious now that I think about it. And
You
also,
do have your samples.
Look at this. This is not normal. Even the lurker slime was different. Or is it similar?
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that. But
No, of course you're not gonna touch that. It's in my sample vial.
fair enough. Found some chips though. Want some?
Well, I'm not really all that hungry, but you do you. Like you always do.
At this point, you have 8 clues. I think that's plenty to attempt to answer the question. I will give you 15 minutes to come up with an answer, and then we'll come back from break and do answer a question. The clues are Rebecca has this tattoo, which is later a symbol that you all see. The symbol, you have to define the symbol, and however you define it, that's sort of like the clue, right? To help you answer the question. The workers were being forced to do whatever they were being forced to do by evidence by the fact that they were all like handcuffed to their workstations. This message on the wall, they did it, there's no turning back, the camera was the key. That feels really important. The entity only understands artifice, everything is performance. We think we saw maybe the entity itself, this huge looming thing with a single glowing eye looming over the station. We found the cameraman, who is the person that you all, the entity you all know as the big man, or at least you have met some version of him, bound to the wall, caught up in a spider's web of VHS tape. Muffled voices of the trapped flame keepers. Also, we think that the flame keepers, it was kind of alluded to that though that's station management, the people who are trapped here. And there was a little note of something Shane kind of deduced was that like the reason for all of this is them, right? The freeing of them. Also, well, so the muffled voices, just to be clear, I'm sorry, to be clear, the muffled voice was the entity.
Oh, got it.
The muffled voice was the entity. The man, they were referencing the flame keepers being like it was almost like the TV show was a negotiation or something going on between them, right? But yeah, these flame keepers, yeah, this is it was kind of hinted that that's station management, right? The trapped people. And then we have this biological matter not of this world. I'll remind you that the question is that you have to just figure out how did the station manage to destabilize time and space in Nagoya County, right? What did they do? What were they trying to do? And then once you've answered that, you have the opportunity to try to reverse the process or otherwise mend the rift that they've created. Or not. Leave it this way. Just stay trapped in the chromatic desert or this cave. So that's up to you as well. But we'll take like 10 to 15 minutes. We'll come back and we'll try to answer the question. So it sounds like maybe we're getting close to an answer to the question of how did the station destabilize time and space in Nagoya County? Who wants to pitch an idea?
So we were thinking, we were talking about like what, because it seems to be sounding there seems to be two sort of factions at odds with each other, the Flame Keepers and this entity.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole sort of being handcuffed and being bound. We were thinking that maybe it's not like those sort of willing, and so sort of like kind of like a sort of a Heaven's Gate sort of situation. Rebecca, the tattoo on her hand, the symbol is actually the sun symbol that's on the big man's bolo tie, and the
Oh,
two of them were a part of this cult. And that this whole thing was sort of a grand ritual to appease this entity that wants to constantly be entertained.
oh, interesting. So okay, I like where you're going with this, I think. Why did they have to be handcuffed to their workstations?
I think it's just sort of to prevent anyone from getting them away from there.
Oh,
So
I
we're
see.
thinking
Oh,
that
it's literally like a David
like a
Koresh situation
yeah, it's a
or whatever.
cult, yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
if we're working based on like two realities, one reality is the one where uh the flame keepers exist and they are terrestrial entities. They are, uh if we're going good and evil, they're the good guys, quote unquote.
Right,
Though we
yeah.
don't really know that. But they're the ones who want to maintain the terrestrial reality that we're accustomed to. Well,
Hmm.
whereas the entity is entertained by turning things into characters, turning things into
Yeah.
performance, which is why in Taylor and Amber's world, the big man is, this like larger than life, like dandy. But in the world that Shane is currently in, he's just the cameraman.
He's just a character and also a character in the play they are putting
Yeah.
on for this entity.
Yeah. I love that. Um, I mean, okay, well, so then what was the thing they did that caused all of this to start to unravel?
We think it's had something to do with the camera.
Okay.
I think that I think that message of they did it was maybe left behind maybe by like Flamekeeper or something like that. That like they use the camera to create the performance to unlock to sort of destabilize things and to keep this entity appeased. I think we were gonna.
I see. Well, sorry, go ahead, continue.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, it just occurs to me like, so if we think about the timeline, like we know a few things about the station that were revealed at different times in the campaign, and one of those things is that the station was set up in the late 70s. They started producing these programs, and then in 92, it literally disappeared. But pretty much from the time of them like doing their programs and on, weird shit has been happening. Like they started destabilizing like things almost right away, right? Like from there, as soon as they started like doing this. So what you're suggesting is just the mere fact that they're doing this is what's happening. I guess what I'm trying to understand, I love it. What I'm trying to understand is if this cult knows what they have to do to keep the entity appeased, to maintain the boundaries of reality and to keep this thing in check, and the camera is used to communicate with it. I guess what I'm trying to understand is why did they come to the desert? Why did they set up a TV station in the desert in New Mexico? And why did and like what was what caused that change? Because presumably they've been doing some version of this for a long time, right? Like what was the reason for these, like why they come here to do it, you know?
Yeah, because their world, which is where we are now, where Taylor and Amber are now, is crumbling.
Oh, okay.
So the abyss that we see, it's just what's happening. So it's just crumbling away. So they had to find an alternative, and the desert was just close enough to where they came from.
Oh, interesting. So they're not of this world. They're not even like from here. Oh, that's interesting. So
Yeah,
they,
we're thinking of different realities. Like if every sort of tape is an alternate reality, then like they sort of deal in this nexus, like
yeah.
they occupy this nexus, and so there's sort of just like
Oh,
reality happening.
interesting. And okay, so so this might not even, they might have done this in tons of places, right? It's not like, it's like there could be
Mm.
Degoya counties all over the place where this has happened, right? In other realities and other dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're all just dealing with the one that happened to happen in Degoya County. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and maybe all these characters that they made up are like there's a big man in an alternate Goya
Well, we
County,
know he
Yeah.
is because like there's a tape,
Renita.
the chili cook-off tape, like he's
Yeah.
in there,
There's a different version of him. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
it's interesting because it actually like it actually kind of implies that the cult like came here uh and enthralled all the workers at the TV station who were locals and kind of eventually forced them to like keep doing this and to keep producing these programs, and indeed as shit got real bad and weird, like forced them to stay. That's really really dark and bizarre, and I like it a lot. So they used the programs to communicate with the entity. They have to perform for the entity. At one point, they were trying to negotiate with the entity in some manner because the flame keepers, these people, these entities are trapped. Like maybe they are not able. Like it sounds like maybe the flame keepers somehow got trapped here or something.
Yeah, I think that like we were sort of talking about like they're the sort of like terrestrial entities. They're like the flagship
Yeah,
or indigenous people of this realm. And so
yeah,
they tried to appease to this cult and the entity to be like, hey, not us. Leave us
yeah,
alone.
yeah.
I mean, maybe they tried successfully many centuries ago to stop any shenanigans going on, and they want to stop what's going on here as well, but they can't since they're trapped in the management room.
hmm Okay, so this is great. I think you've accounted for all the clues, but let's just summarize here. So we know that where Amber and Taylor are right now, because of that matter that Taylor collected, we know that you are in an alien place. We think that where you're at is like the home world, so to speak, of these entities called the Flame Keepers. The Flame Keepers have as some sort of sacred duty, they have to keep this other entity, this dark devouring entity presumably, entertained, for lack of a better way of putting it. They have to keep it entertained, to keep
Well,
it at bay.
I don't think they're the ones that are keeping it entertained. I
Oh,
think
they're
it
not.
was
Oh.
they are the ones that they could stop it, but they are trapped
Oh,
because
I see.
yeah.
They're the ones who can actually stop the entity, but they are trapped by the entity, presumably. And oh, that's interesting. Okay. So Jack, summarize it for me then. Give me the whole big picture story. Give me the whole story.
So there was a cult that came here in
Yes.
the 70s
Ah,
to this particular plane of existence, sort of sun-themed cult, but they are in service to an entity that wants to be entertained and wants to, and entertainment to them is
got it.
undoing realities.
Right.
So they've presumably undone realities before, and they're trying to do it again.
Mhm.
The particular reality that Amber and Taylor are currently in came under threat, but the Flamekeepers were the ones who were trying to stop them, but
Got
they
it.
were kidnapped or captured, or whatever, and taken to this sort of nexus that Shane is currently in.
Right.
Um, in the reality that Amber and Taylor are in, there is possibly threat of a standoff or something, which is why there's handcuffs and sacra. The cultists were bound there, like they bound
Yeah.
themselves there willingly.
Mhm.
And they use the camera obviously as the sort of eye to track these different realities, to create these different characters that
Yeah.
then in Taylor and Amber's world permeate them. So like the
Oh,
cameraman, the cultist who sacrificed himself in Shane's world became the big man in Amber and Taylor's world.
yeah. Love it. And so, okay, that's great. Yeah, it's really interesting. I like it a lot. So we have this cult, we have this, and they just,
And if we want to
yeah,
contextualize a cult thing more, like maybe
yeah.
there's like a whole like reincarnation angle, like they become reincarnated in Taylor and Amber's world as other characters. And maybe, they're what are considered to the Flamekeepers great hungers. They're just iterations of
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, that's so intriguing. Who are the Flame Keepers again in this
they're just the
story?
they're sort of like indigenous powers that existed in Taylor and Amber's world.
Oh, I see. Oh, and I see. And the
Yeah.
cult is basically trapped them,
Yeah.
essentially.
To keep them
Right.
from stopping
To
what
keep
they're
them from
doing.
stopping what they're doing. Got it. I totally get it now. Okay. Uh, that's great. I love it. Who wants to roll plus two?
I'll take a dice if someone else wants to take a dice.
Yeah, I'll roll one.
Big money, no whammies.
And I'll also roll one and we'll
Yeah,
take
just
it.
roll in the spirit of it.
So do you want to roll,
No,
Natasha?
go ahead.
You two can roll
Go
if you
ahead.
want.
Okay.
No.
No, you two go roll. It's fine. All right. Well, I
Someone
rolled a
roll.
5. I rolled a 5.
Five.
I rolled a 2.
A
So it's a
two.
9 total.
9 total. Great. Um, okay. If this is that's the last die roll of the game, probably. So if or one of the last, it will be the last if you all bump it up. If you all want to go join Shane in the Chromatic Desert, now might be the time to go do it. If you want to just otherwise, I mean, if
I
everybody
mean,
has
that'd
a
be
key to
fun,
turn,
yeah.
I mean,
Is
this
that the reality when you live in, though?
it's, who knows? It's up to you two.
I mean, who's Amber going to date in my reality?
It could have a
Well,
bearing on the
there
solution,
aren't that
though.
many options.
That's true. Yeah, I'm marking the key of what's it called? Chromatic Desert.
Amber's coming to join you. Taylor,
Yeah.
are you?
I mean, what happens if I don't?
I mean, well, everybody has to mark a key to bump it up to a 10. If we can leave it at a 9, that's fine. But
Any key.
any key doesn't matter.
I do have one key left, but
I mean, if
peer
you
pressure. I'm
use the
coming. I'm
Chromatic Desert
coming.
as well,
Everyone's
we're
peer
together.
pressuring to the Chromatic Desert.
Yeah, come to the Chromatic
coming.
Desert.
Yeah. All right. I'm coming to
Shane,
the
you also have to
Chromatic
turn a key though, as well, for this to bump up.
Oh, yeah, I turned a key.
All right.
Please don't. Okay, not the pure white signal.
You're correct. You have
Oh,
the
you did.
ability, you have now unlocked the opportunity to reverse or otherwise heal this rift if you wish. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is none of your business now, since you're all in the Chromatic Desert now. So, or maybe you can escape the Chromatic Desert by whatever you do. I don't know. But what do we think? I think we should have a scene where Amber and Taylor, you find yourself in the chromatic desert version of the TV station. Everything is pristine and clean and cool, and
How does it happen? Just like snap?
you're just there. Yeah, it's just a snap. It's just a blink, and the reality is different now.
So I'm gonna say I don't remember Taylor, but Taylor, you remember me because of my ability. I am Era.
Oh,
But do we remember each other when we're in the chromatic desert
you
together?
can.
Uh,
I'll let you all as a group decide. I think that's a group
uh,
decision.
I mean, or we can all remember. That's also fine. Might be easier.
yeah.
Shane, what do you do when you hear the front door open?
I don't think she does. I
What happened to
think
you?
because I've marked the pure white signal.
No.
Oh.
Why are you doing this to us? Now I have to spend eternity with Amber alone.
So I think she does hear the door open, but I think that the sort of realization of what needs to happen sinks into her. And I think maybe she sees Taylor and Amber about to come through. And there's that moment where she realizes what sacrifice needs to be made. And she thinks of them. She thinks of Ash. She thinks of everyone except for Zachary because she doesn't know who he is. And she feels that kind of static rumbling in her stomach again. And it's not like the same sensation of a baby kicking. It's more the sensation of urgency, of destiny. She knows what she needs to do. And so she goes back into the closet, the janitor's closet, and she's going to go and try and rescue the firekeepers.
I love it. Taylor and Amber, you're here in the station. You can look out the window and you see the vast, shimmering desert stretching out in all directions. This is your new reality. What do you both do?
Amber, what have you done now?
Wait, me?
What is this place? I think we should record
Hey,
what we want our reality to
hey,
be.
hi, hello.
Hi, hello, hi.
You see the girl come out of the break room around the corner wearing the red flannel shirt. She's like, are you here to record something? Do you have a program? Do you have a reserved time in the studio?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
good.
we
No,
don't have a reserved time, but we want to record a
you,
program. Right, Amber?
Sure.
you know what? Why the fuck not? Let's
I
do
think our
it.
friend is already here. Oh no, do we remember her now?
I don't know.
Shane?
Yeah, because you saw the tape. You know of a person named Shane, right?
Our friend Shane is already here, I think.
Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar. I think I saw her talking to station management, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, sure, why not? I'll tell Buddy you're here, and we'll get the camera set up, and
Yeah,
uh,
we'll just join her.
oh, um, well,
No
oh,
need.
you know what? Actually, I just remembered. Hold on a sec. Your friend Shane, you said?
Yes.
She goes into the drawer, the desk drawer, and pulls out an Odyssey tape. She wanted me to give you this, and she hands you the purple clamshell cassette case with the Odyssey tape in it.
Thank you.
She said, Eddie can probably get you set up with a VCR in the editing bay. Maybe she's gonna like propose to one of you. I don't know. Be kind of weird, but
Amber, don't even think it.
Too late.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we go there and watch the tape.
Don't you think we should like record something?
I mean, it looks to me like we've got all the time in the world. There's no hurry.
All right, let's do it. Do you still have the bag of chips?
Sure. Have some.
They pop in the last Odyssey tape they're going to find. We can do one from the list and just insert Shane, or Jack, you can just narrate what the tape shows.
I think I'm just going to narrate because I have an idea.
Okay, go for it.
But I think we first, before that happens, we see Shane coming into the ever-changing prison of the Flame Keepers, and she stands there before them. She says, "How can I let you go?"
Shall I answer, or do you want to
Yeah,
tell me?
go for it.
Okay. The Flamekeeper, who is currently, right now, all the Flamekeepers look like witches tied to stakes, ready to be burned alive. And you're standing there with a torch, ready to light it. And the one Flamekeeper says, "The only way we can escape and then we hear a beep 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 beep. The camera was dying. Shane, you've got your answer.
So I think that we see Taylor and Amber watching the tape, and it's just sort of this like sort of like almost 1980s public access dance setup. Um, on it, it says, "This is where stars are born," and we see Amber. We see Shane step out in Dolores Rodenbecker's sequence costume. Her hair like big, tight red curls. Time to give you a show. And she puts on like this incredible tap performance. She doesn't even know she could tap like this, but she is dancing her ass off, and she is dancing so powerfully that at first we don't notice, but she's has a gas can above her head, and she is pouring it on herself. And in a sort of final flourish, she tosses the gas can aside, and she says, her breath sort of heaving, "I'm coming to find you, Ash." And she takes a lighter and sets herself alight.
The tape ends. Eddie says, "Well, that was fucking dark."
We've seen worse. But yeah.
Have we though?
Yeah.
Rebecca joins you in the editing bay with Eddie. She says, hey, I've just heard, Eddie, that we are now under new management. I'm not sure what's going on, but apparently we're going to be moving to greener pastures." Yeah. Eddie's like, "Oh man, I just got an apartment in town. Are you kidding me? I don't make the rules, man." They look at the two of you. "So, what do you say? You want to come with us?"
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Let's
The
do it.
station could use a good biology program, I think.
Eddie says, "You should know, this place gets a little crazy sometimes."
I kind of don't believe you.
And Eddie, at this point, it's a little dark in the editing bay, and he actually goes and turns on the lights, and he sees you, Amber, and he says, "Hey, I'm Eddie, the editor."
Oh,
Goes,
I'm Amber,
like,
one of the new stars here around.
I like your look. I'm into goth chicks.
I just throw my hand like this and walk out of the room.
I love it. We have no idea what will become of the station necessarily. We don't know what happens or what becomes of Shane. We are going to have an epilogue, though. In the epilogue, you can tell me whatever you'd like about the future of your character or about this situation, about the chromatic desert, about the station, about whatever hellscape Ash and Shane are in, whatever you want. And also, if you have any keys that need to be resolved and you want to work those into your epilogue, you can do that as well. So,
Huh. Interesting.
whoever wants to go first, please do.
Let me think for a second.
We can take like a 3-minute break. All right, my lost transmissions. Let's have our epilogues. Whoever wants to go first, please do.
I can go first, and I'm gonna tie in one of the keys that I still have to narrate, and that's what's it called? The flashback to when you experienced childhood trauma. And basically we see a young Amber um, on her own in front of the La Fresca Mall. She's waiting for the bus, and that camping van I described earlier stops by. And there's an elderly woman lowering her window. She's sitting in the driver's seat, and she says, "Do you need a ride?" She looks really nice, thick glasses, gray, like a gray perm. And Amber is hesitant because she's not supposed to talk to strangers, but the woman says, "Oh, don't worry. I've been watching you for a while now. I've been to your school play, and your parents didn't show up that day, right?" And Amber is really intimidated. She doesn't talk much. She just nods. And the woman says, "Uh, I can give you a ride home. Um, but if you don't mind, we can have waffles first. Just around the corner, there's a nice diner." And we see them eating, and the woman excuses herself. And she comes back and says, "Well, sorry, Amber, I've got bad news. I I called your parents, and they said they don't want to talk to you. In fact, they don't want you back. Um, but if you want to, you can join me on a trip." And that's when we cut back to the point in time where she just had that car crash, and she's brought to the police station, still visibly um, shaking, and the police officer says, "Here, watch some TV. I've made you some hot cocoa." And when we see the TV program, it's actually Amber in the form as we know her as an adult, um, doing a goth baking show. And she's prepared some red velvet cupcakes, and when you just cut them, there's some blood coming out. And I think at some point, young Amber turns it off and says, "This is just too tacky."
Nice. Should I go next? Okay, so I will also tie in my flashback with my latchkey kid routine with my epilogue. So we see a young girl with curly hair coming home from school. It's unlocking the door by herself and throwing her stuff down, and she walks to the kitchen table where she finds a list, and she picks it up and reads loudly, "Dear Taylor, please do the following chores," and then just rattles off a whole list of chores. And we see her starting to mop the floor and wash the dishes and do some laundry. And then we hear a voice like, "Cut! Very good, very good. Now do the washing up again." And we see Taylor as an adult behind the camera and scribbling in her notebook, and it's like 50-second try to recreate reality, and that's when we fade to black.
Nice.
Elsewhere, the channel changes, and we see Taylor. She's in the embrace of her father. The channel changes. We see Amber in the embrace of her parents. The channel changes. And we see Shane and Ash embraced by their mother. The television turns off, and we see Shane there standing in some liminal dark space. But she's different now. She's got a glow to her, a fiery red glow to her. She is, in essence, she is fire. And she turns back and she sees the others who are also made of fire. So this is what it's like. At least they've got happy endings somewhere. And the other flame keepers stand and approach her. They say, "We are not interested in beginnings or endings. Only balance, only life, only what we are. Thank you for your sacrifice. Hopefully you find your place with us here." And she nods, her hair billowing in these sort of towers of flame. Together, the group walks into this cave in the desert, deeper and deeper, until their lights go out. And we pull out, and we just see this plateau, this mountainous plateau in the middle of the New Mexico desert. And then the screen cuts, we go to black.
That concludes your stay in beautiful Deep Lake, Nagoya County, New Mexico. We hope you had a good time. Let's go ahead and go to Stars and Wishes for the campaign. Yeah, this is great. I'm very sad that it's ending, but I felt like we got a good ending. Um, I
Somewhat.
yeah, well, good storytelling ending if nothing else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was really like when I was setting up this like final sort of thing, I was trying very hard to I was kind of swinging kind of big for like what I wanted it to be like these like parallel stories in one place, like in parallel versions of a place, and I've never really run a session like that, and so I was kind of like interested how that was going to go. I was happy with how it went, and I thought you all did a good job of like playing into the conceit of it. I thought that was really really fun. Um, Enjoyed seeing all the flashbacks were great. Those epilogues were all terrific. I really really enjoyed those, and um, the idea of like using the camera to communicate with each other was really fun. And yeah, I just had a really good time this session. It was like I knew we were getting close to the end, and so I was like, oh, I hate that we're getting close to the end, but I like that we're this ending we're getting. So that was really great. For the campaign, though, I mean, this has been going for a long, long time because we have not met every week. It's been spread out, and I was reminded the other day that this was the group that we played Trophy Gold. Remember to like do Serpents and Sepulchres, and that feels like ages ago, right? You also did Chili Cook Off, and like this was a big campaign because we did so much stuff we don't normally do in a campaign of public access. And in some sense, not in some sense, in an absolute sense, this is the last time I'll ever play public access like this. Like this is the last time I'm playing this version of the game because now we're doing this like different version, this like Skinny Jeans version. Um, and so it was kind of like it was fun, a little bittersweet in some sense because like it's like I almost felt like I'm from a sort of like creativity standpoint, it almost like ending this campaign almost feels like kind of like putting a capstone on something creatively and like sending it on its way, you know? And so that is, it's both kind of like beautiful, but kind of emotional too, you know, in a certain sense. And so I'm just really happy we're able to take this journey together. I'm sad that we don't have Rob till the end, but it was fun while we had Rob and Zach. And yeah, this was really, really good. It was such a weird, all over the place campaign in terms of like things going on, and there's lots of like questions that I think are still like open, right? Like we never sorted out why there's two Renita Toros, right? Del Toro's like we never figured that out, right? But I think it's okay that we didn't answer all the questions because I feel like there's a lot of space there to like ponder it and like wonder like how this event of the station and the flame keepers and this entity how that might have been affecting the surrounding community is really intriguing, so and it's worth pondering. So yeah, it was just really wonderful. Just thank you all so much for it. Just really good time. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a general star. It's sort of interesting talking about those loose threads, how like you can sort of plug in retroactively from the TV Odyssey mystery and like sort of explain away some of those things. Like, given the fact that our whole mystery was about like these sort of layered multiverse sort of thing, like the fact that the two Ranitas could have just been two Ranitas and one was from a different dimension, and all this stuff. So I think that, it's just sort of fun to go back and like plug those in retroactively. But
Oh,
yeah,
but
no,
I also can I say real quick?
yeah.
You weren't here, Jack, but like this last session when Wayne and Renita Del Toro are like working together and trying to stop the Latchkeys, right? That all makes much more sense in the context of this local cult, right? Like now that suddenly makes more sense, like what they were doing, right? So I just want to throw that out there that we sort of like answered that at least. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, yeah, I feel like there were so many bells and whistles that came with this campaign. I feel like even not getting to do all of the published mysteries, like you still got the sort of like every kind of possible facet uh of what public access is, from nostalgia to like weird interdimensional shit to like horror. Um, yeah, so I think it's an interesting thing to watch and be a part of to see how much of like what the scope was and how much of it we were able to cover. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, it's weird. It's so rare when you're able to kind of end a campaign, and to do it in such a kind of a big way. yeah, definitely kind of like bittersweet. But I feel like everyone sort of had their send off, and it like kind of made sense for them. Um, yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it, but yeah, good time.
Yeah, I'll just say again that like that feeling of like sending off the characters and ending the game is like really, it's always very like you feel a certain way about it, you know? And I feel extra that way because I'm also sending off a game, right? Like I'm sending off this version of public access, which is like, I didn't realize before it happened that I was going to feel like really emotional about that, but like I do, yeah.
It's very cool that you have this extra layer there as well. That's super interesting. I really enjoyed the session, and that we got to see the characters in all their glory with all their character flaws, if you could call it that, again, and or quirks, more like that. Yeah, that we all had time to show our what made our characters special again today, and Shane is always, I mean, Jack always manages to break my heart a little with Jane and Ash. It's just so sad with the twins and what happened to them and everything. It's every session my heart broke a little more for them. And Amber is the total opposite. She just gets more goofy as time goes on, and just always manages to lighten the mood with her romantic escapades. So, um, two very different approaches that I enjoyed very much, and also how it all came together. And thank you, Jason, for letting us go wild with our theory. I don't know if it's, yeah, I mean, parallel universes and everything is probably in every second campaign, but maybe I think maybe keeping this entity appeased, maybe that was something new. I don't know.
I did the so I've probably done both Skinny Jeans and the original game, probably like 8 campaigns in total, 8 or 9, something like that. And surprisingly, we've never done the this is a direct sequel of the Waitley camera version of public access, right? Where the Waitley camera from the Between has an entity in it that they have to communicate with via the camera, right? And this is the first time I've ever done like we're doing the Waitley camera part 2, right? So that was kind of fun. But yeah, so it was kind of unique in that way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks everyone. I've had a great time. I'm super surprised that we managed to finish this session, but it felt right, and I'm happy we're at this point now. I think this was really terrific. The whole campaign was a lot of fun. Big stuff for Jack and your decision to kill off Ash. I think that really defined the whole campaign and set the tone. I really liked it a lot. And yeah, today in particular, the changing outfits and ways you looked, that was pretty cool, and that inspired different parts of the narration. And I'm glad when you guys picked up the film noir element, and then you did the first person narration. That was just chef's kiss. I really like the idea of you, Jason, to include that, and the way you narrated it, Jack. Yeah, I for the whole campaign, I really liked the interactions between Taylor and Amber, always calling Amber out for her bullshit. And that was just a lot of fun, especially today's scene where we did communicate with Shane, and Taylor had that brilliant idea of using the camera and utilizing it. And Yeah, Jason, I'm really thankful for being part of this campaign and the way you run it. And um, I think this was really unique in a way. You mentioned already Trophy Gold and the chili cook-off and the other shenanigans we did, and especially the mystery today. That was fascinating, having these different um, eras we were in at different times. And I was always wondering about the Keepers of the Flame, and I'm glad that they were part of our story now. And that's really so fascinating because it's just a minor detail in the text, and each campaign can make their sense out of it. And for another group, they might not come up at all, but for us, they were quite important. And yeah, so many stars when I look back, especially playing with Rob. That was also a fun dynamic having him, and the way we sent him off, that was a big star as well for me. So yeah, thanks everyone.
I'll say one last thing. Uh, I really the ongoing like sort of joke dynamic of of Taylor or Amber rather Amber's love interests that was really great and fun and I particularly enjoyed that like last week like Amber was like deeply humiliated like by that whole situation, right, like basically torn down to the foundation, right? But then this time in the other dimension, Amber gets to to be the like center of attention again with Eddie the editor. So
Yeah, I love that. Thanks.
yeah, I was really happy with that whole arc, I guess, because we kind of like wrapped up that sort of like side story last week with Amber, but then it kind of came back. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah. I'm so sad that this is ending, but happy that we got a good ending. So,
Yeah.
anybody else have any other stars or wishes, or just anything you want to talk about, or before we go?
What are we playing next?
Well, that's a great question. I am probably going to take a few weeks off just so I can work on the Between on Tuesdays. But yeah, if probably I'm going to want to ramp up something again on Tuesdays, so I'll get in touch and let you all know once I
Yeah,
know
please do. I would love
what I
that.
want to do. Yeah, yeah. I think what would be really fun is if we ever get like Pizza Time or Arkham Herald to the point where we're ready to start playing those. Those could be a lot of fun.
Mm, sure.
Um,
Mm.
and so, but I'll keep you all in the loop on that, but give you plenty of advance notice. But yeah, this is great. Thank you all so much for playing for all these many weeks
Thank
and
you.
for bringing your best and for this was a truly like unique even for public access, like within all the public accesses I play, there's a lot of unique stuff in this one, and I really appreciate it from that standpoint. But also, I just really like the dynamic of these characters. They were just fun characters. Second, again, the idea to kill off Ash early, I thought that was really great. It was so pivotal to the story. And even though Rob, it wasn't because Rob wanted to, losing Shane, or losing Zachary rather, was also like a big part of the story, right? Like it had a big kind of like effect on things. And so, um, yeah, and yeah, anyway, I'm really happy with it. I don't think I've got anything else though, so I will wave goodbye to people watching the video. Goodbye, everyone.